So I don't know if you guys have been living under a rock or you haven't heard the news, but looks like that this is it. The Xbox has finally acquired the Activision and Blizzard deal, and we'll talk about that. However, I wouldn't still celebrate this quite yet. Keep in mind that the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, can always appeal and go ahead for more time for this to be reviewed by a judge again to see if it's fair and not fair. The whole idea of this FTC injunction, it's because Federal Trade Commission felt that it's not fair that a multi-trillion dollar, billion dollar companies like Amazon or Microsoft can just go ahead and buy out anything and everything. Yes, we do live in capitalism, but also there's limits. We don't want this to be unfair because what makes capitalism work is the competition. But if you have somebody who dominates everything, if you have a monopoly, then the competition ceases to exist. So that's pretty much the way I look at it from this whole thing. And we'll talk more about it. But first, let's read the article so that way you guys understand what has been going on with this whole Xbox Microsoft acquisition to buy out Blizzard Activision. And Blizzard Activision, obviously, it's a big deal because they got Call of Duty, Diablo, World of Warcraft, Starcraft, Overwatch. Those are big juggernauts of video games that can bring in ridiculous amount of money, can bring in ridiculous amount of subscribers for the Game Pass. And if something gets exclusive, like let's say that the Call of Duty becomes exclusive 10 years from now, only to Xbox, and Diablo becomes exclusive to Xbox only, and World of Warcraft, Starcraft, and Overwatch. Well, that's unfair. That's the way Federal Trade Commission feels. Like, oh, this is kind of not fair. But anyway, let me read through this statement here. This is from the Games Beat. So, judge denies injunction in Microsoft Activision Blizzard acquisition. I believe this is a California judge. So let's read this. A judge has denied the Federal Trade Commission request for preliminary injunction to block Microsoft and Activision Blizzard's pending merger. While the FTC can still appeal this decision, this is a major win favor of the acquisition. So basically, a judge in California has denied the FTC request for a preliminary injunction to block Microsoft and Activision Blizzard's pending merger. However, the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, can still go ahead and appeal this decision by the judge. So this court's responsibility in this case, it's narrow. It is to decide if, notwithstanding these current circumstances, the merger should be halted, perhaps even terminated, pending resolution of the FTC administrative action, concluded Judge Jacqueline Scott Corley in her decision. For the reason explained, the court finds the FTC has not shown a likelihood it will prevail on its claim. This particular vertical merger in this specific industry may substantially lessen competition. To the contrary, the record evidence points to more consumer access to Call of Duty and other Activision content. The motion for preliminary injunction, therefore, is denied. So basically, this judge, Jacqueline Scott Corley, her honor, she looked at the case and she hasn't seen anything that would be unfair, because Microsoft said that they will still give access to PlayStation for another 10 years, for them to be able to play it on the PlayStation. And they also gonna honor the Nintendo Switch deal where Call of Duty is gonna be available on Nintendo Switch. So basically, all of the Activision and Blizzard games you're still gonna be able to play on your PlayStation and soon Nintendo Switch Pro or whatever they have in the future, and it's not gonna affect. This deal will not affect the PlayStation and Nintendo for another 10 years. But here's the question that the FTC is asking: what about 10 years from now, or maybe earlier than that? Because these things can always change. What if Microsoft decides not to honor that and just go ahead and maybe 5 years from now make Call of Duty only available for Xbox and the Game Pass PC? So these are the questions that the FTC is asking this judge to look into. How is this fair? How do we know that they're going to honor that? How do we know that the Microsoft's not going to live up to those decisions? But even if they do honor it, even after 10 years, how is it fair, right? That Call of Duty, it's only accessible through Game Pass. That means you cannot go ahead and play it on your PlayStation. You cannot play it on the PC through Activision Blizzard. You're going to have to go ahead and sign up with the Game Pass and play it through Game Pass. How is this fair? That's the way they're looking at it. So that's their perspective, So now, reaction to this ruling, obviously, it's stirred a lot of waters. On one side, the Xbox fanboys are super happy, and on the other side, the PlayStation fanboys are devastated. But let's see what Phil Spencer had to say on his Twitter feed. Phil Spencer said, "We are grateful to the court for swiftly deciding in our favor." I like how he said that. Swiftly deciding in our favor. Almost like some kind of an emperor, like a Napoleon, swiftly deciding in our favor. The evidence showed the Activision Blizzard deal is good for the industry, and the FTC claims about the console switching, multi-game subscription services, and cloud don't reflect the realities of the gaming market. Do I agree with that? Well, we'll get back to that. Let's see what else he says. He says, "Since we first announced this deal, our commitment to bringing more games to more people on more devices has only grown. We signed multiple agreements to make Activision Blizzard games, Xbox first-party games, and Game Pass all available to more players than they are today." So let's highlight this. I don't know if you guys can. You might have to watch this on a big screen, or you might have to zoom in. So let me just go ahead and highlight this right here, and I'll read it for you. Let me see. So I'm going to try to read this for you guys. Again, "We are grateful to the court for swiftly deciding in our favor. The evidence showed the Activision Blizzard deal is good for the industry." How is that good for the industry? You see, this is this is where I disagree, with Phil Spencer. How is this good for the industry? It's good for the Microsoft. It's good for the Xbox, because people who want to play Call of Duty, they're not gonna buy PlayStation. They're just gonna buy Xbox and play it on the Xbox. Why would they pay $70 on the PlayStation when they can just go ahead and play it on the Game Pass included? They can get all of the editions, collector's editions, ultimate editions of Call of Duty, and just play it there on the Xbox. And I'm pretty sure everybody else who plays Call of Duty will probably buy an Xbox and play it there. So you were forcing the PlayStation players to play it here because they're going to say, why should I pay $70 or $100 to play Call of Duty on the PlayStation when I can just play it with a Game Pass here on the Xbox? And then when it becomes totally exclusive, which it will after 10 years or maybe earlier, if you guys honor your deal, but there's no way of knowing if you guys are going to honor your deal. Who's to say that then what choice do they have? They're only going to have one choice. If they want to play Call of Duty, they have to play it on the Xbox or buy a PC and then still subscribe to the Game Pass to play it on the PC through Game Pass. So they can only play it on two places, Xbox or PC Game Pass. So how is this good for the industry? Because what's the point of you spending $70 billion if the Call of Duty is not going to be exclusive to the Xbox? Why would you want to help Sony? Why would you want to honor that? You're in business of making money. You're in business of dominating, right? Everybody wants to be number one. So what he says here, I don't agree with it. He says this Activision Blizzard deal is good for the industry. I don't see how this is good for the industry. It's good for you. It's good for Bill Gates. It's good for the Microsoft. It's good for the Xbox and everybody working on the Xbox. But it's a pretty bad deal for Sony. It's a pretty bad deal for people on the PC who don't want to sign up with the Game Pass and they want to be able to play it through, other ways on the PC instead of just Game Pass. I don't know, dude. Look, PlayStation has a lot of Call of Duty players, and if they're not able to play this game, right, and they have to only play it through Game Pass, especially if they don't have to pay $70, they're gonna I only play Call of Duty on PlayStation. Why don't my friends and everybody sell our PlayStation 5 and let's just move to the Xbox and create our accounts and sign up for the Game Pass and let's just play it there, because everything will be included with the Game Pass. So this is not a good deal for Sony. This is a good deal for Microsoft. So when Phil Spencer says that this is a good deal for the industry, no, it's not. It is a good deal for you. When Jeffrey Bezos bought MGM and James Bond license, that's good for him. That's good for Amazon Prime. And of course, we benefit, us Amazon Prime members. But is it good for Netflix? No. Is it good for HBO Max? No. I mean, Max, HBO. Is it good for the Apple TV? No. Is it good for Disney? Of course not. Because now the only way for you to access the James Bond collection is through Amazon. So this is just, Phil Spencer saying what he has to say as the head of the Xbox. Of course he's going to say this is the right decision. Of course Jeffrey Bezos is going to say, it's the right decision. If you are the one benefiting, if you're a beneficiary, if you're benefiting, of course you're going to say it's a great decision. But is it really good for everybody? Here, now let me give you my opinion. Since we already spent 15 minutes reading this, getting into this, I had to read this to explain this to some of you who actually are not familiar with what's going on with this acquisition. Let me give you my opinions about this. Me personally, I as you all know, I own every single console. I own every single PC, every single virtual reality headset, including PlayStation VR 1, VR 2. Recently, I got my Asus ROG Li. I got the Steam Deck. I've got Nintendo Switch OLED. I got PlayStation, two of them, fives. I got two PS4 Pros. I got the Xbox Series X, Xbox One X, and Xbox Series S. Okay, so you guys know, for those of you who follow me, you know that this doesn't affect me. I could care less because I try everything. I'm a variety guy. I'm not a fanboy of anything. I despise fanboyism. I despise anybody who uh, is cheerleader of one brand and it's just worshiping that one brand and cheering for that one brand. I despise that. I'm not into that. That turns me off. That's not my cup of tea. What I am is about variety. I like to be able to access the video games anywhere I want to access them, you know. So me personally, this is not gonna affect me because I have majority of stuff. But it will affect other people who can only choose to buy one thing. They cannot buy multiple things. It will affect them. And what's so interesting about Phil Spencer, he used to say always that I don't like to be forced. Remember when in 2017 he said, boy, how time changes so quickly and people change so quickly within time. In 2017 he said, quote, I don't want to force people where to play. I like the idea to be able to play anywhere I want to play across the platforms. You know, I don't like the this notion of exclusivity where you can only play that one game at the one place, right? That's funny that he said that in 2017 because here we are now. He's totally congratulating something that's totally opposite of what he said in 2017. You know, and I know there's some people saying, but what about Sony? Sony and Final Fantasy 16. Well, Final Fantasy 16, it's a timed exclusive. And of course, it's going to run the best on the PlayStation 5 because it was designed in mind for PlayStation 5. So it's going to look the best, it's going to run the best on the PlayStation 5. I've done so many live streams on it. You can go check it out. I still haven't finished it. I have to finish it possibly maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But it's a timed exclusive. And it's going to be available on PC next year. So it's timed exclusive. All right. So I don't understand how Phil Spencer can make that argument. Final Fantasy 16, it's a timed exclusive. Spider-Man, it's going to be available on PC. Spider-Man 2, the original Spider-Man, it's already available along with the Miles Morales. Days Gone, it's available on PC on Steam. God of War, it's available on PC on Steam. So Sony is doing it right. They're not even their first party exclusive games. They're still putting it out there. So that's the way I look. I'm not trying to pick and choose a side here. I'm simply saying that monopolies. I'm not a huge fan of monopoly. You know what I mean? I like to be able to choose variety, you know, from different outlets. Hey, maybe I can play this game over here. They got it cheaper. Or hey, maybe I can play it over here. They got it super cheaper. They got a much better deal over here. That's the beauty of that's competition. That's what's good for the industry. Phil Spencer. What's not good for the industry is where, ooh, you want to play Diablo? Well, you have to come over here to the green team, right? So, I mean, or you want to play Call of Duty, or you want to play World of Warcraft? Well, you're gonna have to come over here. So that's forcing, you know. Like, why isn't, for example, Starfield? Starfield should have been on the PlayStation as well. Why not? Let's see which system plays the best. Is PlayStation 5 playing it better than the Xbox Series X? You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is this. I'm not a huge fan of this type of thing. I like exclusives. I think every console should have an exclusive that defines that console. I'm all for that. But what I'm not about is companies buying third party studios. Because that doesn't make you special, that doesn't make you creative. What makes you creative is when you create something like Halo, Gears of War, things like that. That's what makes you creative. That's what gives you that edge for people to purchase Xbox in the first place. That's what made Sony so successful, where they created all of these games like Uncharted series, The Last of Us, Days Gone, right? Ghost of Tsushima, etc., etc. Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain. That's what made PlayStation great, right? Because they did that. They're creative. Sony didn't go out and buy out studios, third-party studios. They didn't do that, you know. Xbox is just doing that. And that doesn't really make you a great platform. That makes you like, how do I put this? That makes you look like an Amazon. Really, it's just like almost like a different version of Amazon of gaming, where you're just buying out, buying out everything. And that's why I believe there should be some regulations. The FTC should be able to say and rule out a new rule where it says, hey, there's limitations to what you can do, to what you can buy, because it will affect the competition. You know what I mean? If you are the only ruler, the only dictator that has everything, well, then no one's going to bother going to PlayStation or Nintendo or this or that. I'm speaking figuratively, hypothetically speaking. So then no one's going to bother going to these other places. What makes competition great is, okay, Sony Studio created this game. Wow, it looks amazing. Let's see what Microsoft Studio is going to make. Ooh, Microsoft Studio made that game. Ooh, wow, this is great. That's what creates competition. Oh, Nintendo created this. Ooh, wow. But when you start just buying out studios, and that's all you do is just buying out studios, that doesn't make. I mean, then how is that good for the industry? So my question, I want to end this video by saying this. Maybe Phil Spencer will see this video one day, and I apologize that this video is half an hour, but it has to be half an hour. I can't do this video any shorter than just half an hour. So my question to Phil Spencer is, if Phil Spencer, if you're watching, if you ever see this video, my question to you, sir, is this. You said that this Activision Blizzard deal, it's good for the industry. Activision Blizzard deal. It's good for the industry. How is that good for the industry? How? How? If I only have a PlayStation and I'm like, okay, let's say you only have a PlayStation, right? And you're like, man, I'm sick and tired of paying $80 for a Call of Duty or $100 for a Call of Duty, while the Xbox fans, they get to have a collector's edition included for $100 or for $120 or for $150. They get to have a collector's edition included because they're part of the, this acquisition merger. And me as a PlayStation fan, I'm going to say, dude, this really sucks. I like Call of Duty. I play Call of Duty all the time, but now I have to pay to get these extra goodies, these extra DLCs and contents, these extra season passes. I have to pay $120 on the PlayStation when I can simply go to the Xbox and get it included there with the Game Pass. So if I'm somebody who has a PlayStation, how is that good for me? Who has a PlayStation? That I have to pay all this extra money, and the Xbox fans don't have to. They just pay for the Game Pass subscription. So how is that good for the industry? How is that fair? And I think this is what the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, was expressing. How is this fair? Right? People who play Diablo 4 on the PC, now they're going to have to subscribe to Game Pass. Right? You're going to force them to subscribe to Game Pass to get all these extra goodies, all these extra accolades that going to be only included through Game Pass Ultimate, right? Or people who play World of Warcraft, right? Now you have to move to Xbox Game Pass and sign up with $25 a month subscription. I heard they're going to raise the prices to $21. Probably $25 depending where you are. If you're in Canada, it's most likely $25 to $30 US Canadian. The price might vary depending where you are. So how is that good for the industry? That's my question to you, Phil Spencer. How is that good for the industry? When you are forcing people to choose, in a way, you are forcing them to choose. They're gonna be like, man, I love my PlayStation, but damn, majority of the time I play Call of Duty. I mean, sometimes I check out these exclusives, but I'm going to save more money if I go with the Game Pass, right? I'll get all of these DLCs included. All of this extra content will be included. All of these passes will be included. All of this, perks, extra perks will be included. I can save a bunch of money by just switching to the Game Pass and the Xbox. So I just looked at it. I look at it from a independent point of view. I'm a gamer, dude. I love technology. I love gaming. I'm so proud to say that I'm not a fanboy of anything. I'm somebody who enjoys variety of stuff. And I like choices. One of the beautiful things about variety is to be able to choose how you want to choose it, how you want to play it, where you want to play it. That's the beauty about to be able to choose how you play it, where you want to play it. I think that's the freedom. That's what makes industry a great industry, is when you give people the choice on how they play it. But when you are limiting that choice, then that's not good, in my opinion, for the industry. Then you are forcing people to sign up with a Game Pass. A Game Pass subscription where the prices have already been jacked up even higher. But anyway, what do you guys think? You heard what I had to say. You heard my opinions. Again, I'm sorry about the half an hour video, but there is no other way for me to make this video any shorter than this, because I had to explain the whole thing about the injunction from the judge that denies it, and the FTC's disappointment in that, and of course what Phil Spencer had to say, and of course my opinions on it and thoughts as well. So let me know what you guys think down below. Please be respectful to one another. I want to hear everyone's opinions. I welcome everyone's opinions. What I don't like is, and I don't recommend this that you do, I don't like people being nasty to each other. I believe everybody can have a good, respectful opinion down in the comments, as long as it's being respectful. I know this is a touchy subject. I know this is a very controversial subject video, but please try to be respectful down on the comments. Whether you're the blue team or the green team or somewhere in the middle, try to be respectful, make your case, make your point, but do it in a respectful, decorum way. All right, now that I have said that, thank you guys for watching, and you might see me tomorrow doing some Synapse virtual reality PlayStation VR 2 game called Synapse. I've been dying to play this game, so we'll be playing that tomorrow. I think tomorrow around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, guys, have a good one, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.